welcome back after the break. Very excited to be here and emceeing the next session. And our next speaker will be Lynn. She's an amazing, inspirational person. So give it up, guys, for Lynn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynn Pasi, and I'm chairperson for Sydney HerStory Global Women Empowerment. It's such an honor to be part of such an amazing group of women. And I'm just here to share my story and just to also tell you what my experience has been. I met, I think I'd like to say thank you to Gertrude first before I get into my speech. I met Gertrude when I was about 22, and probably I don't think she does remember. I had my son at that age. I had just been married, and I used to admire her from afar. But I guess like what all of you ladies are saying is once you meet Gertrude, there's this bubble of energy and she just draws you in and you just want more and more and more. You just can't, it's someone, she has that kind of energy. You will never forget her. You just want to be part of anything that she's doing. So I'm very honored to be part of her story circle and just keep on growing with you ladies here. A bit of my background. I think I shared earlier on with when we started the conference. My background, I come from a what I call a rainbow I call it a rainbow family. I was raised by my stepfather and my biological mom. He had two kids, my brother and my sister, and she had me. So there were two divorcees who just got married. I felt love, I tasted love, I smelled love being raised by these two amazing human beings. I hear so many horrific stories about how a lot of kids are abused by step parents and all sorts of, crazy things that happen out there. But my stepdad was just an amazing human being. I was in a perfect setting. They always tell you that what a child needs is just love. If you give a child love, I think that's the best thing that you can ever do. And that's what I got. In our little world of love, my family, I guess HIV struck my family. And I remember losing my stepdad when I was 9. It was the most heartbreaking thing that I ever went through. My hero, the man who used to teach me riding my bike, who used to walk me around the yard, going left, right, trying to teach me which hand was right and which one was left. He was gone. My mom had to be strong. She had to raise my stepbrother, my stepsister, myself, and my half sister that she had at that time. She was about a year old, and she was pregnant as well, expecting another child, and she was widowed. So she became the backbone of our family. Every time when I mention my mom's name, I start trembling. She was the foundation. She was the rock. She was the pillar. She was just an amazing soul to be around. Every time when I think about her, I always wonder why God even let her be on earth, because she was that good. She was loving, she was caring, she was nurturing, and she passed on so many things to us. Being a child raised in a family that has HIV is the most difficult thing. You are tainted as a sickling person. You are you are a diseased person. No one wants to talk to you. No one wants to touch you. No one wants to be close to you because your family has HIV. I grew up around that. I used to visit my cousins. You know, families can be loving, but they can be extremely horrible. And I remember one incident. I was about I was about 10, 11, and we visited one of our aunties, and she made us sleep in the garage because my mother had HIV and my sister had HIV. And I remember whilst we were still at their house, they had to strip down all the blankets and put them in the washing machine for hours and hours and hours because they were scared, excuse me, because they were scared to catch the disease. That became part of my life. But my mother sheltered us so much. She wanted us to know that HIV was just a disease. It didn't change who we were. It didn't define who we were. She taught us to be caring. She taught us to be giving, to be forgiving as well. She taught us to love unconditionally and to reach out to anyone out there who needs help. And throughout my years, that's what I did. I thought that people would pity me, you know, and want to care so much, but they didn't. Instead, they became even more cruel. When I got to about 15, after my stepdad had died, my half-sister had passed on, my younger brother had passed on as well. So I had lost already 3 family members. My mother took ill really bad, and she started prepping us, myself and my older brother and my older sister. She started preparing us for her death because she knew it was coming. She would sit us down and, you know, she would literally imitate how people would be crying on her funeral. And she'd call out the names and say, you know, Auntie such and such, Uncle such and such would be doing this on my funeral. And she would ask us so many times to be strong, to be brave, because people are going to start name calling. We thought this was just her own perception or assumption on how things would be. I thought that, you know, mom is just telling stories. I'm sure if she does pass on, people will be kind and loving and, you know, they'll feel sorry for us. On the 2nd of December, 2000, my mother passed on and life hit really hard. I started seeing everything that my mother taught me. I started seeing everybody's behavior changing towards us. I'm going to be sharing just a few things that I experienced in my past being an HIV orphan. And I guess having met Gertrude, that's why I guess I really understand what her passion is all about, because I'm one of those orphans. After my mother passed on, I remember walking in a bush, and I was sitting on a little rock. It was more like a granite rock. And I was sitting there because I had been kicked out of home. And I couldn't understand why. My family was trying to split us up with my stepsister and my stepbrother because they were blaming my stepfather for infecting my mom. So the siblings that I had grown to know were being taken away from me. So every time I would go and visit my sister, I would come home to my mother's house and I would get a beating. A wooden stick. It could be a hose. It could be anything. They would beat me up because I was just talking to my sister. They wanted me to be alone. And I became alone. So as I was sitting in the forest, I thought to myself, my mom is gone, my dad is gone, all my siblings, my biological siblings are gone. My step siblings are gone. They've taken them away from me. So what's going to happen now? And I thought to myself, you know what, Mom, you taught me, you passed on all these lessons to me, but I think I'm not strong enough. I decided to take my life away. But I was only 16 at that point. I just turned 16 and I didn't know any better. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know forms of taking your life away. And suicide wasn't a thing. It was something that I would just hear about. And I went home. I took a pack of 24 Panadols. I was like, yep, that's it. I'm going to die. I just want to be with my family. It didn't happen. All I got was stomach pains and cramps. I started a journal. I would start writing things, everything that I was going through. I experienced sexual abuse, being molested right under my family's nose. And I would seek help. I would talk to them. And they would tell me that it's your fault. You're just a naughty teenager. That's why. I had to dig deep. I had to dig deep down in my soul and look and reach out for the lessons that my mother taught me. I never knew that love could be so powerful. I started thinking about all those lessons about staying strong, about just reaching out in my darkest moments. My mother always used to tell me that when you find yourself in your deepest, darkest moments, just reach out, wake up, get up, stand up. You don't know who's going to be outside. That person you might bump into might be the person who's going to rescue you. I started thinking about the years that I had with her, the love that we shared. In Africa, people know that what we call this, it's like sour cream. We call it lacto. You can eat sadza with lacto. And this is for the poor, mostly. She would set our table, put serviettes, shape them into little ducks. And we would sit there and share prayers and eat sadza and lacto. So I started digging down, reaching out for those lessons that my mother used to teach me. And she always used to say, baby, the moment you wake up and your feet touch the ground, know that you're blessed. So I started thinking about all these things so that I could get myself out of this suicide path that I'd started going towards. As strong as I was trying to be, as young as I was, things were still difficult. I went through hell on earth. Family started accusing me of killing my own mother. And they would say that I was a witch. And they would say that because I was a horrible teenager, probably that's why my mom died. They started name calling me. They started accusing me of being pregnant and all sorts of things. And this was my family. And I would think that my mom probably is tossing in the grave right now because she left me in the hands of these people and she thought they would look after me. I remember at 16, I received my very first birthday card after my mom was gone. It was written, "Happy birthday, darling, ha ha ha," straight from the grave. This is immediate family that I'm talking about. People can be cruel. My heart bleeds for orphans. I'm grown, I'm 36. I'm raising my two beautiful children God blessed me with. I've got both ends with my children. I've got a 14-year-old and I've got a 3-year-old. So I experience both dramas, but they're a blessing. I walk around every day wondering if I'm to pass on, if I don't reach out to the community and build foundations and build things that protect orphans, what will happen to my children when I'm gone? Orphans need to be looked after. Orphans deserve to be loved. My story stretches because being an orphan, I ended up getting married, but nobody really cared about what was going to happen. I walked straight into a domestic violence relationship. I'll get beatings. The blood that I remember, the first blood is when I was a teenager as an orphan, when I used to go for my menstrual periods and no one would used to buy sanitary pads for me. And I would use newspapers. I would tear up towels. The second streak of blood that I know is when I was married, when my husband used to beat me up to get abortions because I was pregnant and it wasn't part of the budget. As an orphan child, yes, I was an adult, but who was I going to tell? I didn't have a mom and dad to cry to. I didn't have anyone to share my story with. I come here on this platform. I'm bold. I might cry, but I'm bold. I'm strong. I made it in life. I worked for a big corporate in a management role. They didn't want me to succeed. They didn't give me an opportunity to go to university. But I was empowered by so many people around me, just like you, all of you on this platform. I didn't have any source of education, but I'm in a corporate role, in a management position, because I was empowered as an orphan. I come to this platform and I share my story, and Gertrude makes that happen for me. Like all of you are saying, she's a big sister to all of us. I share my story with pride, with dignity. And I remember she told me one day, she said, "Lynn, if people were good to you, they'll be known for good stories when you start talking. If people were bad to you, they'll be known exactly for that. So don't ever alter your story to suit them so that they can feel good about the things that they didn't do." I love my family so much. All of them, the ones who hurt me, the ones who accused me, the ones who didn't look after me. I love all of them because I come from a foundation of raw love. I come from a foundation where I was taught that as humans, we need to look after each other. And I'm going to keep on doing that. One person after the other. My work colleagues always laugh at me and say, Lynn, we've never seen such a manager like you. You manage this place with passion, and that's what I do. They see me walking around in the shopping center. When I see an elderly, I think about a couple of days, one of my two I see, she say to me, Lynn, stop it. I know you're going to go and help that old lady. I know you're going to go and carry her bags. Let's keep walking. It's lunchtime. We need to go. But that comes from the passion that I was given by my family, by my mom, especially. I encourage you. I hope I've inspired all of you out there just to be loving, to be caring. Look after these orphans. They need you. You will never know how it feels until you lose both your parents. You saw how Gertrude was sharing her story, breaking down, losing her rock as a grown woman. But how about that child who loses a parent when they're young? Who shapes their lives? Reach out if you can. Help out if you can. You don't have to be tied with any foundations or anyone or any big names. Reach out, help these orphans. People are committing suicide. How many kids are losing their lives? A lot of people are killing themselves because of COVID. We've lost so many people. I was reading the stats. Worldwide, we lose a person from suicide every 4 seconds. Every 4 seconds. Knock on your neighbor's door. Check in on them. Who says it's wrong? Who says it's weird? Pick up the phone. Call each other. Love each other. Thank you.